You have a dream that you stopped calling a dream. At some point, maybe years ago, maybe recently, you quietly moved it from the category of things you are working toward into the category of things you think about when you are alone and honest with yourself, but never say out loud anymore. You learned to call it unrealistic. You learned to smile when other people talked about playing it safe, as if safety were the same thing as wisdom. You learn to build a life around the edges of what you actually want, filling in the gaps with things that are almost right, almost satisfying, almost enough. But this week, something in the structure of reality itself is cracking open, and what you have been told is impossible is about to introduce itself to the world as inevitable. Most people do not realize that the line between impossible and possible is not a fixed boundary. It is a living, breathing threshold that shifts depending on the energetic conditions on both sides of it. There are weeks, rare, specific, cosmically charged weeks, where that threshold becomes thinner than it has been in months or even years, where the distance between where you are and where you have always known you were supposed to be compresses in ways that cannot be explained by logic alone. This is one of those weeks, not because someone is making a promise with no basis, but because the planetary conditions converging right now are creating exactly the kind of energetic opening that turns the dreams people carry in silence into the realities they one day describe in public. If something inside you stirred when you read that title, if there was even a fraction of a second where you felt something between hope and terror, that reaction is not wishful thinking. That is recognition. The part of you that has never stopped believing, even when the believing got very quiet and very private, is responding to a signal that something real is moving. Stay with me through this entire video. What I am going to share will not just inspire you, it will give you a framework for understanding why this specific window is different from the 1,000 other moments you were told things were about to change. And it will tell you exactly what you need to do to make sure you are positioned to receive what this week is genuinely carrying for you. Let us start with the energetic mechanics of what is happening right now, because this is not about blind faith or positive thinking. There is a specific and rare configuration building in the sky this week that involves Neptune, Uranus, and the personal planets moving through territory that has not been activated in this way for a very long time. Neptune dissolves the walls between what is and what could be. It softens the rigid boundary that the practical mind insists on maintaining between the current reality and the dream reality. Uranus delivers breakthroughs, sudden, unexpected, irreversible shifts that happen not gradually, but in a single moment that divides your timeline into before and after. When Neptune and Uranus work together, they create what mystics have always called a miracle window. Not a window where the laws of physics suspend themselves, but a window where the laws of energy shift dramatically enough that outcomes which were genuinely impossible in one frequency become genuinely available in another. And the personal planets activating this configuration this week mean that these shifts are not just happening at the collective level, they are touching individual lives. Your life. The invitation is not to sit passively and wait for something to fall from the sky. The invitation is to recognize that the wall you have been pushing against has a door in it right now. And this week is when that door becomes visible. Let us talk about the dream itself, the one you stopped calling a dream. Because there is something important that needs to be said about what happens to a dream when a person carries it in silence for too long. It does not disappear. Dreams do not evaporate simply because they stop being spoken. But they do go through a transformation that most people do not recognize for what it is. A dream that is denied long enough stops feeling like excitement and starts feeling like grief. It stops announcing itself with energy and starts showing up as a quiet ache, a low-level sadness with no clear source, an inexplicable response to other people's success in the area where your dream lives, something between admiration and longing that carries a sting you cannot fully explain. That grief is not evidence that the dream was wrong or that you were wrong to want it. It is evidence that the dream is still alive, that it never left. That part of you has been faithfully tending to it in private, even while the public version of you learned to live without it. And what is happening energetically this week is a reactivation of the life force in that dream, a cosmic signal reaching the part of you that has been keeping it alive and saying, now, not someday, not eventually, not when the conditions are more favorable. Now is when the conditions are more favorable. Now is the window. And what you do with this week will determine whether this particular opening moves you forward or closes without you having walked through it. Here is what makes an impossible dream actually impossible. And it is not what most people think. It is not lack of talent. It is not lack of resources. It is not even lack of opportunity, although opportunity matters. The thing that makes a dream impossible is the sustained belief, buried deep, often unconscious, usually installed very early in life, that people like you do not get to have things like that the dream belongs to a different category of person. Someone luckier, more connected, born into different circumstances, possessing something you fundamentally lack. That belief is the only real barrier. Everything else, the practical obstacles, the logistical challenges, the external circumstances, those are solvable. That belief is the wall. And Neptune dissolving walls is not a metaphor this week. It is a direct energetic assault on the specific belief structure that has been keeping your dream in the category of impossible. You may feel it as a sudden questioning of assumptions you have held for years. A moment where you catch yourself thinking something you have always believed and realize, with unexpected clarity, that you never actually chose to believe it. It was handed to you. And for the first time, you have the option to hand it back. This is the moment. This is what the energy of this week is specifically designed to facilitate, the dismantling of inherited impossibility. Uranus then delivers the breakthrough that the dissolved wall makes available. And Uranus does not announce itself in advance. It does not send a calendar invitation. It arrives as a sudden phone call, an unexpected introduction, an idea that arrives fully formed in the middle of the night, a conversation that takes a turn no one planned, an email that arrives from a direction you were not watching. The breakthrough does not always look like a breakthrough from the outside. Sometimes it looks like a small thing, a seed, a single word spoken by the right person at the right moment that rearranges everything inside you in a way that the world has not yet caught up to. But you will feel it. You will know. Because something in you has been waiting for exactly that signal for longer than you are prepared to admit. What do you need to do right now, today, to be positioned for what this week is carrying? The first thing is to actually name the dream again. Out loud if possible, in writing if not. Speak it without the defensive qualifications you have learned to attach to it. Without the immediately following sentence that lists all the reasons it probably will not happen. Just name it. Raw, specific, alive. Because the universe cannot deliver to an address that has been deliberately obscured. The clearer you are about what you are actually asking for, the more precisely the energy of this window can organize itself around your specific situation. The second thing is to take one action, one concrete, real-world action, in the direction of the dream before this week ends. Not because that action will single-handedly make everything happen, but because action in the physical world is the signal that tells the energetic world you are serious. It is the handshake between intention and manifestation. It does not have to be a big action. It does not have to be impressive or dramatic or expensive. It has to be real. A message sent. A conversation started. A page written. A registration completed. A decision made that commits you even slightly more than you were committed yesterday. Uranus responds to movement. Give it something to work with. The third thing, and this is the one most people skip because it feels too simple, is to spend some time this week genuinely, vividly, sensorially imagining the dream as already real. Not as a future possibility, as a current reality. What does it feel like in your body when that dream is your life? What does the morning feel like? What does the work feel like? What does it feel like to have crossed the threshold from wanting to having, from dreaming to living? This is not escapism. This is energetic programming. You are showing your nervous system a frequency it does not yet recognize as available, so that when Uranus delivers the breakthrough, your system is ready to say yes, instead of flinching away from something that feels too unfamiliar to be trusted. There is something profound about the people who carry impossible dreams past the point where everyone around them has advised surrender. They are not delusional. They are not naive. They are operating on a frequency of knowing that exists below the level of evidence, below the level of logic, below the level of what the current circumstances can confirm. They are holding a signal from their own future and refusing to release it even when every practical argument says they should. And the universe, whatever your understanding of that word, does not ignore that kind of persistence. It responds to it. It builds toward it. It organizes circumstances, people, timing, and energy around the sustained, silent faith of the one who refused to stop believing. That is who you are. That is what you have been doing. And this week is when the building the universe has been doing finally becomes visible to you. Not as a completed structure, but as the unmistakable outline of something real taking shape. Something that yesterday existed only inside you and tomorrow will begin to exist in the world. The impossible dream is not a dream anymore. It is a destination, and the road there just became real. Comment. Below, my impossible dream is becoming real. I am ready. Like this video if you have been quietly holding on to something that the world told you to let go of. Share this with someone who has a dream they are afraid to speak out loud. Sometimes the most powerful gift you can give another person is the reminder that the distance between impossible and inevitable is often just 1 week of the right conditions. And those conditions are here right now. The dream you refused to release was always the one the universe refused to forget. One last thing needs to be said before you walk into this week, and it is something that will matter more than any piece of strategy or any energetic framework I have shared. When the breakthrough arrives, it will ask for your trust before it asks for your action. It will ask you to believe in something before you have enough evidence to be certain. That is the nature of every genuine breakthrough. It requires a leap of some kind. Not a blind leap, not a reckless leap, but a leap that goes slightly beyond what the current evidence can fully justify. And the size of the leap it asks of you will be directly proportional to the size of the dream on the other side. Do not let the size of the required trust frighten you into staying still. You have already demonstrated, through everything you have endured, that you are capable of more courage than you give yourself credit for. The same person who carried an impossible dream through years of doubt and difficulty without releasing it is absolutely capable of taking one brave, forward step when the window finally opens. That person is you. That window is now. And everything you have been through, every delay, every disappointment, every moment you almost gave up but did not, was preparing you for exactly this moment of choosing to move forward when it finally, genuinely matters. The dream was never impossible. The timing was just not right yet. It is right now.